Support for Sportspage is provided by First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. By the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jennies emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower floor of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. By Parker's Supermarket and Pharmacy, a home-owned and operated store that listens to its customers. Whether it's a hypoallergenic formula or a new exotic vegetable, Parker strives to serve the unique needs of the area. The mission at Parker's is to make grocery shopping a welcoming experience. And promotional support for Sportspage is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics. Straight ahead on the Central Missouri Sports Page, we'll talk UCM hoops with Mules coach Kim Anderson and Jennies bench boss Dave Slifer. Just 3 MIAA regular season games remain in the 2011-2012 season, and we'll break it down with Coach A and Coach Slifer tonight. In our Sports Page student-athlete spotlights, we'll go inside the paint to meet Mules forward Matt Webb and Jennies forward Kaneesha Lee. All of that and more coming up next here on the Central Missouri Sports Page. Hello again, everybody, and thanks for watching the University of Central Missouri Sports Page. I'm Shawn Jones, and joining me to tip off the show this week is Mules basketball coach Kim Anderson. And Coach A, a fine line, obviously, between winning and losing, and between 9-game winning streaks and losing a couple in a row. It's been tough this week. 2 one-point last-second losses for Mules basketball since our last show. I think you're a little grayer on top.
Yeah, I noticed the intro wasn't quite as perky as it was the last 5 or 6 weeks. Yeah, it's been tough. It's been a tough week. You know, we've had 2 games where, you know, we've had the opportunity to win in the last 10 seconds or whatever, and you know, one offensively we needed to make a play to get the ball in bounds, and the other one defensively we made the play offensively, then we needed to stop them defensively, and we couldn't do it. So it's tough. It's tough, and you know, but the thing about this game, you still have a lot of opportunities, and although we're not where we were a couple weeks ago, we still have a chance to maybe win the conference championship. You know, probably not. Probably take, you know, a couple things to happen, but realistically, right now we're in second place, or I guess a game or a half game out of second and third. So that and the regional rankings and all that stuff, still a lot to play for. So. You got to pick yourself up and keep going.
Yeah, just a couple shows ago, it was a 9-game win streak. You'd won 11 of your last 12. You're nationally ranked. You're leading the MIAA. So we know this team is capable. What's the key or the keys to getting this team back to those winning ways?
Well, we haven't done a good job defensively. You know, I think going back to a couple games, maybe games 8 and 9 of the 9-game winning streak, no, I didn't think we played well at all. I think we won games. I think one of them we won because we were playing at home. And the other one, I think we caught, you know, Lincoln didn't play as well when we were at their place. You know, they're a capable team too. So we kind of had a false sense of security. And I think that carried over into the Washburn game. And that's not good because, you know, they're really a good team. So I think defensively, you know, we've had a hard time guarding dribble penetration, and you know, some of that is athletic ability, but you know, a lot of it's just making your decision you're going to do it, because we have done it. You know, offensively, got to share the ball maybe a little bit more. I think it's not a selfish thing. I think it's a thing where, you know, we're late in the season. Teams know what you're doing now. You've got to be able to make adjustments, and that means making an extra pass here, or setting another screen, or whatever it is. You got to be able to make those, and those are really hard to coach. Those are more reactionary things, and that's something that I think we've struggled with. But in both losses this week, we had double-digit leads. So it's not like we can't do it. It's like we've just had a problem finishing. And good thing is, still got games to play. Get to go play the conference leader on Saturday, and you get another opportunity.
Let's go back to last Saturday. You're out in Hayes playing in front of almost 4,000 fans, and you get off to a terrific start. First half, things are going well. You're hitting shots, playing well, but you only led by 7 at halftime, and it was the weirdest feeling. And I know since talking to you, you had the same feeling. You led by 7, but you felt like you should have been up by 15, 20 points, and the result was Fort Hays evaporated that lead very quickly in the second half, and then it became a seesaw battle late, and unfortunately they hit the winning shot with just a couple seconds to go.
Yeah, I thought early on, we'd beaten Hayes here by a substantial margin. And, I thought that early on, maybe they were playing a little bit back on their heels. I thought we were playing pretty well. We made some shots, we executed, we did a good job defensively on them. But I agree with you. When we went in at halftime, we were up 7, and you kind of look at things and you say, we should be up 15. And the second half, they came back. They when you let somebody figure out that they can play with you, then you're usually in for trouble. Then you're in for a game, and that's what happened. And give them credit. They came back. They took a 7-point lead, but then give us credit because we came back and had a 3-point. So it was one of those back and forth games. And then we didn't execute at the end, and that's disappointing as a coach. You obviously always blame yourself, and you try to do a better job of teaching, but we didn't get it done. And the game Tuesday night was the same thing. We had a double-digit lead. We went. I think we were up 13 maybe at one time, and with 2 minutes to go in the half, we go in at half and we're up 5, and we're kind of feeling good. And it's like, no, we're not. We shouldn't be feeling good. We should be up 10.
We'll look at the highlights from Tuesday night. You mentioned it. It's a non-MIAA game. It will be next year. Central Oklahoma, the Broncos from Edmond. They're a very good team. They're playing an independent D2 schedule this year within the South Central region. They come into Warrensburg. They're on the fringe of being regionally ranked. But it's your team that gets down a little early. You see Dusty Allen hit a jumper there. Then you guys made a good run. And as you mentioned, built a good lead there in the first half.
Well, it's a good team. This is the team that hosted our region last year, and they were 30-4, and they had 5 of the 6 top scorers back. So it was a nice kick out. And there's a good example of sharing the ball and getting a good shot by DJ. But Central Oak has always been a good program in the past 10 years under Terry Evans, and that's something, we thought it would be really good to play them this time of year simply because we had the 5 straight home games, or 5 straight road games, and we kind of wanted to stick a home game in there.
There you see Terry Evans. Of course, a lot of folks remember Coach A from Old Mizzou. Terry Evans was a gunslinger at Oklahoma for Billy Tubbs in his day. And there you see a gunslinger, Widget Washington, who was really effective in this game, scoring and dishing the basketball.
Well, I thought it was, one of his top couple games he's played since he got here, and he played. They couldn't guard him. They tried to, and much like we couldn't guard their guy, they couldn't guard Widget, and he did a great job of breaking their press. They finally quit pressing because we were doing such a good job against it, and played under control. He made shots, and he made plays for other people.
And you had to play some different guys. There's a good play by Dean off the bouncer from Widget Washington. Again, this is when you're building that 13-point lead. Dominique Newton played a lot of minutes in this game. You had to play different guys because you had a situation where your starting point guard Lance Beckwith is out with strep throat, couldn't play. You also had Yavario Smith out, so you were very thin at the guard spot.
Well, we were, and Newton did a great job. Dominique Newton did a great job coming in, and we've tried to incorporate him in more this year. He missed 7 weeks with the knee problem, and so we've been trying to get him back in at certain spots where we think he'll be effective. In this game, he did a nice job and came in and took over for Lance.
There's a 3 by Boo. Boo's at his best when you can set him up and get him that open jumper. He's really effective beyond the perimeter.
Well, he's worked really hard do a better job of shooting, and he's really become a very, very effective, one of the leading three-point shooters in our league.
Well, you see there quickly it became a ball game in the second half, and really for most of the second half it was a one-possession, back and forth, seesaw type of game. You led by 13 with $1:30 to go in the first half. That was cut to 5, and then UCO erased that, and it just became a ball game in half 2.
Yeah, both teams, and it was kind of a slug it out type game. You know, they played a lot of zone, we played a lot of zone. Neither team could really guard the penetration of the other, and it turned out to who's going to make the three-point shots, and they were very effective at that in the second half.
And you know, it's an interesting game too. You look at the stat sheet and you say, well, we didn't play that bad. We out-rebounded them. We didn't turn it over that much. We shot 50%. But you look at them and they scored 72 points by the end of this thing and shot 58%, which really tells you at the end of the day your defense wasn't tough enough.
No, and our offense wasn't really that bad. I thought we did a good job against their zone. We got the ball in the middle of the floor. You always like to shoot it a little bit better, but here's Matt. Matt does a good job playing strong around the basket and getting a good hook shot. But no, it was definitely a defensive situation where we had a hard time guarding.
There you see Matt pulls the defense out. He's got that good mid-range jump shot. You did take a lot of jump shots in this game. You only had 6 free throws. Again, LB, Lance Beckwith, out, and he's a dribble-penetrating guy. He can get fouled. Didn't get fouled a lot in this game. And quite honestly, when your team's playing well, you're attacking the rim with fervor and getting to the line.
Well, no question. Neither team shot a whole bunch of free throws, and we were fortunate to still be tight here with 51 seconds to go.
Very late in the game here, you take the lead on the runner by Widget Washington with about 7.5 seconds left to go, 7.8 to be exact. You lead by 1, but then we're going to see them make the play down the floor. You see here that Brent Friday with 27 in the ball game gets ahead of your defense, attacks, and scores with 3 seconds left.
Yeah, and obviously we didn't want to have things happen that way. We wanted to keep ourselves between him and the basket, and just didn't work out. I mean, kids are kids. They tried the best they could, but the good thing about it, hopefully we'll learn from this, and we won't let this happen a third time.
You saw the last play, Boo Hunter. Fouled, not fouled, bottom line is not called, and there's the final result. Central Oklahoma gets a big win on the road here. That's going to be a big series here coming up as they join the MIAA as they win at 72-71. We don't want to skip ahead to next season, but my goodness, with Lindenwood coming in, Central Oak coming in, Northeastern State, a good program, a former national champ from just earlier in this decade in Northeastern State, and then Nebraska Kearney, which is traditionally a 25-win program. This very difficult league is about to get a whole heck of a lot tougher.
Yeah, those teams, Central Oak's on the verge probably of being in the regional rankings. Despite having a record of just a little bit above 500, they've played a tremendous schedule, an independent schedule, and played some of the top teams in the country. So, yeah, next year won't be any easier either. We got to worry about this year.
Yeah, let's look at this year, and let's not doom and gloom this thing too much. There's Central Missouri in the toughest league in the country in D2, sitting there right now just a couple games out of first place with 3 to play. We do go to Northwest Saturday. It may be tough to catch them. Bottom line is you're going to have to beat them in order to have the opportunity. But you're tied for 3rd right now, and you're a half game out of 2nd. So all in all, not bad. Ranked 7th in the region this week. Top 8 teams from the region advance to the regional and the national tournament. So a lot to play for your basketball team as we begin the Ides of March coming up here pretty quickly.
Well, for sure. I mean, we're a half game out of 2nd, and obviously for any of these teams that are with 5 losses, Northwest would have to lose 2 of their last 3, which isn't likely, but stranger things have happened. The great thing is we get the opportunity to go up and play them. They're a great team, really played well this year. Earlier today, watched them play Truman from last night, a double overtime win in Kirksville, in a game where they didn't play particularly well, but where they, I've seen these teams. Fortunately, I've had the opportunity to coach teams like this. You know what? They were going to win. They figured out how to win, and Ben's done a good job. McCollum's done a good job. So But it'd be a great opportunity for our guys, a chance to go in and play conference leaders, maybe shake things up a little bit, and definitely would help us if we're going to remain in the national tournament picture down the line.
3:30 tip coming up on Saturday in Maryville at Bearcat Arena. If you want to join us up there, there'll be a lot of green up there. They're excited, and they should be, about their basketball program. 3 straight years they didn't make the MIAA tournament. Now they're going for an MIAA title. So in essence, you and I have talked about it, nothing replicates that first time, that excitement, that thrill. You did it here when you took us from a really poor program when you arrived to league championship and hosting regionals, and they're experiencing that now under Ben McCollum. So you know what your guys are in for when you head up there on Saturday. You just hope they've got an idea of how tough they're going to need to be.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a great atmosphere. You know, it's not a big arena, a couple thousand, 2,500 people or whatever, but it's a very compact arena, and I'm sure they'll be revved up. That's great, though. That's what this is all about. It's February, and you know, there's a lot of teams now that are not playing for anything, and fortunately, we are. We're playing for a chance to improve our seeding, maybe win a conference championship, and maybe go to the national tournament. So there's a lot of coaches doing these shows today that they don't, you know, they're talking about gardening or something that's going to happen in golf or whatever, exhibition baseball or whatever. So at least we're still talking hoops.
A lot of hosts sweating bullets trying to come up with questions to ask. Yeah, we're not to that point, that's for sure, with the NCAA tournament a possibility, high seed in the MIAA tournament, and heck, who knows, maybe an MIAA championship. What we do know, if that's going to happen, the Mules are going to have to win at 14th ranked Northwest on Saturday. Then next Wednesday, it's on to St. Joe to take on Missouri Western, and that's just a flat, scary game because they are 2-15 in the league. They're in last place. They're probably not going to make the MIAA tournament, but this may sound like homer talk, but I'm not sure there'd be a better 2-15 league team anywhere in Division II because they play hard. They seem to lose by a basket every time they play. The kids haven't given up. That's going to be a challenge on the road.
Well, and you know, you go back, you think they've won 2 games, but I remember sitting there watching them back in December beat the number 1 ranked team in the country at that time, Missouri Southern, and they didn't. It wasn't a close game. They beat them. You know, they beat them soundly. So, capable team. Always a tough place to go play, and once we get through this weekend, we'll just have to prepare for that one, and then just keep going, 1 game at a time, and it's down to 3, and then roll the dice and see what happens after that.
And we finally get to close out this 5-game road swing next Wednesday. And then on the 25th, we host Truman in the final game of the regular season on Hall of Fame Day and Senior Day. 5 straight MIAA doubleheaders for the Mules and Jennies here on the backside of the season. It's a grind.
Let me tell you what, that bus is getting to be real familiar, and we're getting close to our bus driver. Fortunately, we've had the same one. We've had Kirby for most of these trips, so we're getting real tight. We're learning a lot about each other.
Kirby needs a warm-up. He's part of the team.
Leather jacket.
Thanks for the visit. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, Jonesy.
Coming up next on Sportspage, we'll get to know Mules junior forward Matt Webb. 00. That's next here on KMOS-TV.
Voces to me means pride in my community, pride in myself, sense of self-esteem, self-worth, passion for our people, Latino contributions to American culture, all rolled into one, where Latino voices from all corners of America can be heard. I'm Edward James Olmos, and Voces is my source for Latino stories on PBS.
I choose to be independent, to blaze my own trail.
I choose what to create, how to organize, and where to share.
I choose what it means to be a change maker. I choose who to root for, who to work for, and who to care for. I choose red to broaden my world.
I choose red to discover my hidden potential.
Choose red.
Choose red.
Choose red.
Choose red.
Watch Season to Season Outdoors starting in January, only on KMOS-TV, Channel 6. Can I get a grunt?
And welcome back to the Central Missouri Sports Page here on KMOS-TV. In this segment, we shine the student-athlete spotlight on Mules junior forward Matt Webb.
This year's team compared to last year's team, we have a little bit more depth at the bigs position. No offense to Oak, because I know Oak was a good player here, but we have 3 good bigs who can play, and we have guards who are really fast, get up and down the floor, and really balanced. So we're not just can't just focus on one player to stop us and control the game. We have so many guys who can go off on any given night. We have 3 guys who are double figures right now. So. Any of our starting 5, any guys who come off the bench can go have a big game. So we're a little bit more balanced, and anybody can have a big game. So I think that's the difference from last year. I think it goes game to game. Some games we adapt and we slow it down, make a guard. That's one of the big things that we've been focusing on is executing, playing slow, making teams guard us, and execute our offense. But some games, there's times we have a lot of fast break points to get up and down the floor and score. So we're just really solid at both aspects of the game, slowing it down, playing half court, or playing a fast pace and making teams play with us. So our goal is every first 5 minutes to control the pace and punch the team in the mouth, so make them play the way we want to play. My relationship with all the coaches are really good. Coach A, when he recruited me, he talked to me a lot. He still talks to me a lot now, and he gets to me a lot to make me play harder. And I can understand that. It's coaching, tough love. So my relationship with him is really good. And Coach Turbo, he's really good. He likes to get under my skin, make me play hard, make sure he talks a lot of stuff, make it game situations. And Coach Lowe and Coach Luce, they work with my academics, and Coach Luce is the guy who actually recruited me, so talk to him a lot constantly. I have a good relationship with him, and Coach Lowe is a really good guy. Basically, I chose UCM because I wanted to stay close to home, because my dad, he basically taught me how to play basketball. He's been to all my games and everything, so I wanted him to see me play for my last 2 years, because hopefully when I'm done here, I can go overseas and play, and I know he won't be able to get to see me play too often. So it's basically as close to home. They have a good tradition here. They win a lot of games and always competitive in the conference. And Coach A is a really good coach. He played in the NBA, so he can teach me a lot, and he's a fellow big man. So that's one of the main reasons why I chose UCM. When I was like 5 years old, my dad picked up a basketball, put it in my hand, and we went outside and played every day. I can remember him coming home from work and me outside in the driveway waiting for him to get out the car, and us play one-on-one, and he'd teach me how to shoot a jump hook and teach me how to shoot. So basically he started it all with me, and ever since I was 4 or 5, only sport I really ever played, and I just fell in love with it. I like to listen to Lil Wayne, and I know this kind of contradicts itself, but I pray before the game. I always pray and hope the Lord helps me to have a good game and to play hard and aggressive. Remember everything we went over in the playbook, and just to calm my nerves. But I like to listen to music and kind of keep to myself before the game and just focus. So, I should stay quiet and listen to music. That's about it. It's probably my size and my touch around the basket. I can stay down low and finesse and shoot a hook shot, or I can step out and shoot a jump shot. I say my weakness is probably being aggressive 100% of the time while I'm in the game. That's really something I've had to work on since I came from JUCO. I was the guy, and I could play when I wanted to, and I could score even when I didn't really want to. But now I have to play really hard, go after every loose ball, and coach has been getting on me about that, and I'm starting to pick it up. And especially after last game, I see how important it is, especially losing off of one play. And I see where if I'm aggressive the whole time, good things can happen to me and the team. So just being aggressive is probably a weakness. We still have a lot to accomplish. We kind of need some help now to win the conference regular season, but all our goals are still intact to win the conference title in the tournament in Kansas City and to make the NCAA tournament. So basically what we need to do is execute these next 4 games. So these next 4 games are really huge for our season, for our goals. And if we win these next 4 games, then we're right there with what we want to do at the end of the season. We want to all get rings. That's our main goal, is to get some jewelry on our fingers when we're done here. So basically win these games, we're basically have our goals accomplished. We're really close. They're like family, they're brothers, so we're with each other 24/7. We see each other on campus. We don't ignore each other. We say hi, what's up, ask how their day's going. So we're really close with each other. Good team, good guys to be around.
The junior from Kansas City averages 8 points and 5 rebounds per game. He also has 27 blocks to lead the Mules, and that ranks 4th in the MIAA. Coming up next on Sportspage, we'll take a look at how all the Mules and Jennies winter sports teams performed this past week, and we'll stay on the hardwood to talk hoops with Jennies head coach Dave Slifer. All of that's on the way when Sportspage continues right after this.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose to follow through, to finish my degree.
I choose a university that's convenient and close to home.
I choose Red to transfer my credit hours without any hassles.
I choose Red to graduate on time.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit has academic programs designed to help you finish your degree and discover your potential. Learn more at choosered.ucmo.edu.
When you support your PBS station, you support possibilities. You're making sure there is a source for independent voices, ideas, and perspectives. You're opening children's minds and giving everyone the chance to find inspiration from the arts, to discover more, be more. Support possibilities. Support KMOS.
The big thing with the KMOS Ready to Learn program isn't just, come watch our shows, but then they want you to turn it off and read a book. My source for quality children's education is KMOS-TV.
You're watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And once again, thanks for watching Sportspage here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Coming up next, we'll talk Jennies basketball with head coach Dave Slifer. But first, let's look back at how all the Mules and Jennies performed this past week. And we start with the track and field squad. They had a great showing at the Iowa State Classic last weekend in Ames. Kayla Meischkens, Lavin Cialo, and Leander Toney all posted automatic qualifying marks for the NCAA Division II Indoor Championships. As a result, all 3 UCM student athletes earned MIAA Track and Field Athlete of the Week honors. In addition to the 3 AQs, UCM posted 5 provisional qualifying marks for nationals as well. The Mules wrestling squad is dealing with several injuries in key weight classes, and those open weight classes hurt the Mules as they fell in dual action to Lindenwood, Fort Hays State, and Truman State at the MIAA duels last Sunday in Kirksville. Some good performances though. Willie Russell picked up a pair of wins at 174, and Derek Sanders won 2 matches at 184 to lead the Mules. The 17-6 Jennies basketball squad is ranked 7th in the first NCAA South Central Regional rankings. Those were released yesterday. Joining us now to talk about his team is head coach Dave Slifer. Coach Slifer, welcome back.
Good to be here, Jonesy.
Well, let's talk about this basketball team. Just 3 games left in the regular season. Your team is 7th in the region. Of course, most of our fans know 8 teams advance, so I guess right now it's safe to say you're on the bubble and every game's important.
We are absolutely on the bubble. We've got to find a way to win all 3 of these games and then make some noise in the conference tournament. So we're excited about it. Feel like that they're games that we can and should win, but as anybody who's followed us knows that it's going to be tight games, I assume.
Well, and this past week is a good example. What a wild week it was. Last Wednesday, you go out to Topeka, take on number 9 Washburn, and quite simply, they don't lose at home. They've lost like 10 games in 11 years at home, and you guys hit 9 threes in the first half, hang on late, and beat them with a very solid performance. And then you go out to Hayes, play a good Hayes team that you beat here at home, but you go out there and you catch probably their best effort of the year and get beat by 17. I'd say it's safe to say it was a tumultuous week for Jennies basketball. A little up, a little down.
That was a nice way of saying we laid an egg out at Fort Hayes. We were not even close, and it was an embarrassing game, and it's a game that I think we learned a lot on. So as much fun as the Washburn win was, that was tough to stomach out there.
Well, and also a case, too, that in that game at Washburn, again, the 9 first-half threes, and you guys were knocking down those outside shots, and then you were able to attack the rim as well. And in Hayes, those shots didn't fall. And Hayes was playing with great intensity, and they seemed to be a step faster all the way around. So you couldn't get back in it with the long-range ball. You couldn't penetrate because they had the 6'4" player in the middle who was thwarting all the attempts to get to the inside. It was just a tough day.
It was, and she was a big presence. She was fouling the heck out of us, but that's just a embittered coach talking right there. But she did a great job. She gave what the referees let her get by with. In the Washburn game, we were 6 of 9, I believe. 9 of 15 in the first half from the 3. But what people don't remember is Washburn was also 6 for 9. So anytime I see, the Jennies just shot it well, I'll tell you what, Washburn shot it very well too, and we're still able to have a 12-point halftime lead.
And what you got in that game is something you've received a lot this year, and that's a game-winning shot from Nicole Cadell.
Unbelievable. That kid is finding ways to win, and she's going against a very good defensive player, and she's very undersized, but she is strong, she's fearless, she's got a lot of confidence, and she's playing some pretty good ball. I wish she could take that last 2 or 3 minutes of every game and put it into about 35 minutes, but she is still a very, very good player in this league.
No game for the Jennies last night. You were off on Wednesday. You did not elect to fill this week with an opponent. You're probably feeling good about that right now.
We tried to. We thought we had Central Oak coming up, and they had. I talked to the women's coach, and we're going to play a doubleheader. And then they realized later, the women's coach, that we're talking about a February date, not the January open date that we had, and he wanted to play in the January open date. And thank goodness, because we were tired. We'd had enough. I got a chance to watch my wife's team and my daughter's play, and then we came over and watched my son's team and Coach Anderson's team, and so it was a long, tough night. We were 0-2, and I'm just glad it wasn't 0-3 with the Jennies playing. So.
Well, and also, too, you scheduled up, as you always do, back in November and December. You played a rigorous non-conference schedule. You don't really need to beef your schedule up right now.
No, we didn't, and so we felt like we were in pretty good shape with now none of us knew that Midwestern State was going to be that good whenever we scheduled their tournament early in the year, and we got a great double overtime win early in the season, and the next night they beat Washburn. So I have seen where now they've only lost 2 games at home, and one of them was our double overtime loss that they had. So that's a good regional win for us. So we're in good shape as far as strength of schedule goes.
Well, we're going to look at some practice footage from this week. No game action for the Jennies since the win last Wednesday at Washburn, the loss at Fort Hayes. So a little practice this week in preparation for the final 3 games, of course, beginning on Saturday at Northwest. So what has this extra time allowed you to do? Rest, work on fundamentals, focus on Northwest? What have you done with it?
Well, the first thing we did was we took Sunday off, which is our normal day off. Then we went ahead and practiced Monday hard, got a lot of weights in, then took Tuesday off also. So we're able to get a couple days off, but we've been going at it very, very hard. We did get into first day yesterday was first time we used the big screen TV in our new locker room, and we're able to watch film in there, so that was kind of fun. We're getting ready to go do that again today. So we'll take a look at what Northwest does, and there's such a quirky team that you just never know. It's going to be some type of pressing, some type of crazy zone, some type of double teaming, and who knows exactly what Northwest team's going to show up.
And I know that's probably a difficult challenge for you and your coaching staff on how much you focus your team on worrying about Northwest and how much you just focus them on the fundamentals and using the time to rest and using it to get better in some areas. I know that that's something you probably wrestle with.
Well, you just saw us right there. We're just practicing getting in a stance. I was so frustrated with down at Fort Hayes where I just didn't feel like we were very intense. We were playing the game of basketball with our knees locked straight up and down. And I think probably the worst play that happened was one of the Fort Hays gals threw a ball to their teammate. The teammate wasn't watching, hit the girl in the head, but we had 5 kids with their knees locked, not in the stance. They got the loose ball, not us, and we went on to go ahead and just play miserable for the rest of the time.
Well, we're going to see you do a few different things here as we continue to look at this practice footage. What are the areas that you feel like this team does need to get better in or play at a high level in to give yourself a chance to win not only at Northwest but these final 3?
Well, the first thing that's been happening throughout this season is every once in a while we'll just be a horrendous defensive rebounding team, and that's something that we have just got to get better at. We don't do a great job of getting a body on somebody all the time and playing with the intensity to finish plays. So we've done a lot of blocking out, being particularly feisty in finished plays. Here you see us earlier where we're doing a lot of dribble penetration, and that's one area where we do a pretty good job of shooting threes. We do a pretty good job of post-ups, and we're just not the greatest dribble penetration team, and that's something that we can always get better at.
Here you're working with the team on being tougher with the basketball and hanging on to the ball. This is an interesting drill.
Well, this I got from the old point guard camp, and Nicole Caudell, you'll see right there, is probably not the world's greatest practice player that's ever existed, but a lot of times teams that put a lot of pressure on the ball give us problems. And so what I've been trying to do is make sure that we're used to having somebody close to our body. We're able to pass and catch and make basketball plays even though somebody's close to us.
Well, and here we are down the stretch. It gets rough. I mean, because the opponent knows what you're going to do. They know your players. You know their players. It becomes very rough here in February. The players, the officials, the coaches, the broadcasters, we're all a little surly right now, so you got to really be tough.
Well, you really do. It's a situation where our league, I think, has always been a very physical league, and probably more physical than anybody else in the country. Which I kind of like, because I feel like that the tougher teams usually do a better job at the end of the year. So what we're doing is making sure that we stay tough, and we got to keep those people off the offensive glass.
Nicole Caudell, the great thing about her as you head down the stretch, teams know what she's going to do. She's going to go outside in. She's going to dribble, penetrate, but she is so strong, she's still difficult to stop.
Oh, she is a very, very strong young lady, and whenever those days are that she can make a 3 early, all of a sudden that defense is extended, and it's very hard to guard her. She's done a better job of limiting her use of the dribble, and she was just been more efficient of her use. And if she doesn't put the ball on the floor too many times, if she'll attack the rim, she is very, very hard to guard. So, and I think she's got a legitimate shot at becoming some type of All-American type of honors.
Shaquanda Wiggins, she's kind of an X factor. Boy, she took the game over at a key stretch against Washburn. She averages a double-double. She's one of the most talented players in the league, if not the most talented. If you can get her to play at that level down the stretch, this team could do a lot of great things.
Well, sure, and she's took 4 possessions in a row where she got big buckets against Washburn. And so the buckets that we had to have, she made the shots, made the plays. It was very exciting to see her starting to get settled back in a little bit. And to be honest, out of Fort Hays, that was one of her worst performances. So we've got to get a little more consistency out of her.
One thing people may forget, it's not an excuse, but Erin Redmond was slated to be your starting point guard, and she, of course, is out for the season with an injury. So, you kind of waited on Alyssa Rhodes to come from the soccer team, and she was going to play for you, but probably not near as many minutes as she's playing for you. Teams know that. They're putting a lot of full court pressure on your point guards now, and I think we'll probably see that continue some, don't you?
Yes, Northwest definitely will. After watching the Fort Hays tape, and I did an exceptionally poor job of helping Alyssa out on that, so I took full responsibility for that and apologized to her afterwards that, Alyssa, that won't happen to you again. We'll get you some help up there. And what we're going to probably do, Jonesy, is leave another post back. So even when Northwest makes a bucket, you'll have one of the posts taking it out, the other one being on the elbow, and if Alyssa is guarded, we'll throw it to the other post, she'll diagonal cut, and then we'll get some fast breaking opportunities. And so it just kind of lets her do what she does best, and that's get in the open court and make basketball plays.
And something else that's fun to watch is when Taylor Hansen's raining threes. They seem to come in bunches. I sometimes call them 4s and 5s because they can come from 28, 29, 30 feet, but they go right through the bottom of the net. 65 threes on the year, 45% from 3. It's pretty incredible.
It is. She's been, and even those days that I think in 4 games of the last 5, she hasn't even been able to score. But I tell you what's happening is teams are taking one person and putting, and I don't care if she's out at 30 feet, they're face guarding her. So all of a sudden now we should be able to drive better. We should have some more room inside for Shaquinda to shoot some shots, and Kaneesha, and Nicole. So even when she doesn't score, Jonesy, she makes plays.
Kaneesha Lee's another X factor, I think, down the stretch. I know you've been very pleased with the way she's improved her game, especially maybe where it doesn't show up in the stats, altering shots, doing things on the defensive end.
Well, this is a kid that can guard a lot of different people, and she's going to be able to guard with Northwest. They've got a couple of guards that are seniors that they look for first, but then they have really been trying to go inside lately. And so I think you'll see the first 5 plays of the game, them dumping the ball inside, attacking Kaneesha and Renee Shippey, and we've just got to do a great job of making sure we alter some shots, that we get them one shot and we go the other way.
MIAA standings are interesting. Pitt State's got the lead in the league. Washburn's behind them. You can see right there, you're right behind Emporia State. You're a game behind them, but Fort Hays State's a game behind you. So 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place. These are all possibilities.
This definitely it's still a crazy time of year, and we'd still like to get up in that 3rd slot, just because that means that we won the last 3 games, which would put ourselves in better position regionally. So I don't know that it makes a whole lot of difference, 3rd, 4th, or 5th. We have not beat Washburn yet, and Pitt State yet, and so we still love to have the opportunity. Both those games we felt like got away from us, that they were games that we could have easily won.
Saturday in Maryville, 1:30 tip at Bearcat Arena, the Jennies and Northwest. Final 4 team last year in the country, lost a lot of players, struggling record-wise this year. They came in here and gave us fits, and then you got the win, and I'm sure you and Gene Steinmeier go way, way back to the NAIA days. He'll have something drawn up to give you fits. It'll be a challenge on Saturday.
They're a team that's 5-20, Jonesy, and I am scared to death because they had a chance to beat us. They had the ball down 2 with the chance to beat us at our place earlier in the year, with no business of it either. They just played extremely well.
Then next Wednesday, it's on to Missouri Western in St. Joe. No secret, that's always an interesting game. You were the head coach there for many years, had a lot of success. Your assistant here, Josh Keister, followed you as head coach, so a lot of years of head coach at Western on the central bench. And they're a really scary team. They have 2 of the best players in the league on their squad, yet record-wise not where they want to be.
No, they're not, and they are a scary team because in transition they run hard. All of us like to think, hey, our teams run hard. Nobody in this conference runs as hard as Missouri Western. Now, they haven't been able to make get a lot of wins off of that because they've had some struggles inside. So hopefully we can control the tempo. We can take the ball inside. We can get a bunch of scoring done inside.
And Coach A and I were talking about this a moment ago, Slifer, the fact that here we are late February in a very competitive MIAA, and we're not talking about gardening, golfing, recruiting, spring training. Still a lot for the Jennies and the Mules to play for as we head down the stretch here.
Absolutely. I mean, we're not going on spring break. We want to go to that regional tournament. We want to make some things happen. And we don't think that there's any reason why we can't go ahead and win the conference tournament and win a regional tournament. So that's what we're looking forward to.
It's easy for us to talk about winning 3 games in a row. How do you guard against that with your team? 1 possession at a time, one half at a time, 1 game at a time?
Well, I think after our performance at Fort Hays, we know what can happen if we're not ready to play. And we can't get too full of ourselves and enjoy a victory too much because that could happen again. And, we're scared. I mean, Northwest Missouri had a chance to beat us at home when they had nothing to play for at that time, and we were playing pretty well. So we've got to find a way to go on the road, get this thing done, and make sure that we feel pretty good about ourselves going to that conference tournament.
Thanks for the chat. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Jonesy.
In just a moment on Sportspage, we'll get to know Jennies junior forward Kaneesha Lee. That's next here on the University of Central Missouri Sportspage.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose to follow through, to finish my degree.
I choose a university that's convenient and close to home.
I choose Red to transfer my credit hours without any hassles.
I choose Red to graduate on time.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit has academic programs designed to help you finish your degree and discover your potential. Learn more at choosered.ucmo.edu.
Hi, we're the Bacon Brothers, and PBS is important to us. My brother Michael here has composed music for the documentary series Nova, Bill Moyer's Journal, and The American Experience. Isn't that right, Mike?
That is right.
Mm-hmm. Hey, didn't you win an Emmy for writing music for one of those shows?
Yes. Have you ever won one? No. Okay. Experience you may have this year, but so far I'm the only Emmy-winning person in our family. There's also, you're involved with PBS, which is a performance that you did a long time ago with a certain very beautiful young woman.
Yeah, that was American Playhouse, and it was a very, very long time ago. And I met my wife, Kira, on PBS. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, changed my life, but nothing compared to your work on PBS. People should really check that out.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
I am?
I mean, you were great, but it's not like you won an Emmy yet.
Yeah, to hear more about my acting, you can watch me interviewed on Charlie Rose or Tavis Smiley here on PBS. Have you ever been on Charlie Rose, man?
Oh, he's called me a lot, but I've just been too busy.
Okay.
Well, how about we just agree we both love PBS?
We both love PBS.
PBS is my source for engaging drama and interviews.
PBS is my source for award-winning documentaries.
You're watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
My history with basketball, I didn't really play till I was in the 7th grade, so I really wasn't interested in it, and then my dad just was like, oh, you should try it, and then I started liking it, so I just started to play. And in high school, I liked it, but freshman year it was more for fun, and then it started getting serious. And then I just came from Toledo, in Toledo, Ohio. I enjoyed it, but I feel like this was a better fit for me, so. My recruiting process coming here was with Coach Keister from my JUCO college. My JUCO coach helped me find Coach Keister, and he got me on a visit right away. The relationship with my coaches here is really laid back. I mean, they have an expectation for what they want from me, so I just try to stay out of trouble and do what they ask me to do. I mean, I could come to them when I need them about classes, or I'm from Arizona, so I'm pretty far from home, so I mean, they help me out with a lot of stuff. My relationship with my teammates, we're all pretty cool. I mean, we get along pretty well on the court and off the court. We don't really have any big issues or any concerns about anything. Daily practice for us is start off with some drills, go hard on the drills, and then practice players come in and we usually work with them and they get us better. So it's actually a good thing because we work with the boys, and the boys obviously are stronger than us and faster than us, so when we get on the court for like in games and stuff, it's a little bit easier. I do consider myself a leader. I mean, I'm not like all crazy and do what I'm doing or anything like that, but I mean, I'm there for the girls if they need me. I'm pretty fun and chill, so I consider myself that I could be a leader, yes. Before each game, I usually have to talk to my dad. He usually tells me the same thing every single time, but I have to do it just because I've done it since I've been playing basketball. And before every game during the national anthem, I usually bow my head and pray before the game, and that helps me like calm down and relax and just make sure I'm ready. My strengths and weaknesses, I'd say my strength would be blocking shots. I'm pretty good at that, altering shots. That's what I usually go for. And I'd say my weakness is dribbling. I hate dribble. I will not dribble. If I'm wide open, I still probably won't dribble. So it's just always been like that. This team compared to Toledo, I would say, is a lot different. Well, first off, it's Toledo was D1 and then coming D2. I wouldn't say it's easier, but I think the difference is the people, the players are smaller. Like, it's just a smaller group, and the girls I'm playing against aren't so big. The atmosphere actually does make a difference, because when you have a bigger crowd and you know there's people there cheering you on, then I feel like you're more likely to like make better plays, or when you make a shot, feel more confident to make the next shot or do something better on defense or offense that you weren't doing. My plans after college, I'm trying to go overseas for maybe 2 or 3 years and then come back and maybe do a graduate program. And I'm working towards being a healthcare administrator. Besides basketball, I usually just hang out, nothing special. I like to read a lot and go to the movies and go out to eat. Not much to do in Warrensburg. For the rest of our season, I see us finishing out pretty strong. I mean, we've made it this far, and we've came up with a couple of losses that shouldn't have been losses, and a couple of losses that we couldn't help. So, I mean, I think we have, for the last 4 games, I think we're pretty good standings.
The 6'2" senior forward from Phoenix, Arizona via Toledo is averaging almost 5 points and 4 rebounds per game, with the team leading 35 blocks on the season for the 17-6 Jennies. In just a moment, we'll tell you where all the Mules and Jennies are competing this weekend as the Central Missouri Sports Page rolls on after this.
I choose to finish what I start.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose red to make my family proud.
I choose red because I can take classes that work around my schedule.
I choose red to advance my career.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit has academic programs designed to help you finish your degree, advance your career, and discover your potential. Learn more at choosered.ucmo.edu.
For incredible musical programs that you don't see anywhere else, for literary programs without commercial interruption, KMOS-TV is my source.
KMOS-TV is a nonprofit organization owned and operated by the University of Central Missouri. The station relies upon many people, businesses, and organizations in order to provide programming services to thousands of people throughout Central Missouri. We can't do it alone. We need people to contribute as members, as corporate partners, and through major gifts and bequests, which can be arranged through a will. Public broadcasting faces many challenges in the years ahead as it competes in an increasingly cluttered media marketplace. But public television strives to be different. If this difference has been important to you, then I hope you'll consider a significant contribution to KMOS-TV through a major gift or bequest to keep KMOS-TV and the entire public broadcasting system going strong. You can call KMOS-TV to get more information on how you can make a contribution that will change lives for the better for decades to come.
For one final time this week, welcome back to Sports Page. Before we put the finishing touches on this week's show, let's run down our upcoming schedule of events so you know where to follow the Mules and Jennies. And we start with some big basketball games coming up as the Mules wrap up their 5-game MIAA road swing this week with 2 huge road contests. Saturday, the Mules are in Maryville for a matchup with the MIAA leading Bearcats. Northwest is ranked 14th in the nation, more importantly 4th in the first regional ranking. Tip-off of the 206th all-time meeting between these two schools that have been in the league for 100 years is 3:30 on Saturday at Bearcat Arena. Next Wednesday night, the Mules will be in St. Joseph to wrap up this road trip against Missouri Western at 7:30. You can catch all the action on 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, 90.9 The Bridge, and WarrensburgRadio.com. The Jennies basketball squad will also conclude their stretch of 5 straight MIAA road contests this week. Saturday, the Gens take on Northwest Missouri at 1:30 in Maryville. Then next Wednesday, the Jennies will take on Missouri Western, 5:30 in St. Joseph. And of course, you can listen to those games on KOCO 98.5 The Bar and WarrensburgRadio.com. All the aforementioned games can be viewed via video webcasts at ucmo.edu/athletics for an $8 charge. And don't forget, fans, the MIAA basketball tournament right around the corner, March 1st through the 4th at historic Municipal Auditorium in downtown Kansas City. The Jennies open play Thursday, March 1st, with the men's action getting underway Friday, March 2nd. All session tickets for the conference tournament, $40 if purchased through the UCM Athletic Ticket Office in room 101 of the Multi. They're $50 if you wait to purchase them at the event or online. To purchase tickets through UCM, stop by the Multi Ticket Office Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. And a reminder to fans, UCM will host pregame events 90 minutes prior to UCM games at Johnny's Tavern on Grand Boulevard in downtown Kansas City. The UCM Indoor Track and Field team will host the UCM Classic Friday at the Multi. Field events begin at 2. The track events begin at approximately 5:15 p.m. The Mules are ranked 6th, the Jennies 8th in this week's Track and Field Division II rankings. The 6th-ranked Jennies bowling team will take part of the Morgan State Invitational this weekend in Baltimore, Maryland. And the Jennies softball team will open their 2012 season this weekend at the Southeastern Oklahoma Tournament in Durant, Oklahoma. And it's time now for our weekly Sports Page trivia question. Each week, we give you a chance to win a prize from UCM Athletics. And last week, we asked you, what year did Central Missouri join the MIAA? The correct answer, 1912, as the MIAA is currently celebrating its centennial as a conference. Velma was the first person to email us the correct answer, so she wins a Choose Red UCM t-shirt. This week, our question is, how many MIAA basketball tournaments in Kansas City have the Mules won? To be entered to win a UCM Athletics t-shirt, send the correct answer to the address you see on your television screen or email it to sportspage@kmos.org. And with that, we wrap up yet another edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page. We hope you enjoyed the show. We invite you to tune in each Thursday night at 7 or Saturday at 5 to keep up with the UCM Mules and Jennies. Also, visit our website, ucmo.edu/athletics. You can follow us on Twitter at UCM Mules and search for Sports Page and UCM Athletics on Facebook. We've got you covered in social media. Until next week, for our entire crew, this is Shawn Jones saying thanks for watching Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS, a broadcast service of the University of Central Missouri.
Support for Sports Page is provided by Parker's Supermarket and Pharmacy in Warrensburg. Parker's works hard to supply grocery staples and spices to cook Italian, Mexican, Chinese, Indian, and Thai cuisine. The mission at Parker's is to make grocery shopping a welcoming experience for everyone. By First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. And by Union Station, Crossroads to Technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs. Campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, Crossroads to Technology. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 KOCO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOCO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.